Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of SpongeBob Now. Today, I will be talking about Karen 2.0 and InSPONGeiac. First, I'm going to talk about Karen 2.0. Enjoy. At the chum bucket, Karen dumps a bag of chum onto a tray and zaps it into a 3-course meal, with the entree being chum pot pie. She goes to Plankton, who works on a project. Annoyed, he tells her the pot pie chum was supposed to be a stir-fry chum, and she responds that her memory is full. Plankton says such problems will be solved by his newest creation, which he reveals to be Karen 2. Karen is distraught that Plankton is replacing her, and his words anger Karen to the point where she tries to zap him. He flees from her blasts, but Karen 2 shuts her off via the chum bucket's power source. At the Krusty Krab, it is closing time, which makes SpongeBob sad. Mr. Krabs walks home as SpongeBob follows him and says goodbye until he trips over a box filled with Karen's components. Mr. Krabs is about to get away until SpongeBob points out the free computer. Mr. Krabs rushes back, feeling anything free should be taken. They go back to the Krusty Krab, where they activate the computer, who turns out to be Karen. SpongeBob is wary that it may be one of Plankton's schemes, but Mr. Krabs is convinced that anything free is automatically good. When Karen's startup is completed, the screen turns to a hysterically crying face. SpongeBob tries to comfort her, but he unintentionally makes her even more depressed. Karen looks out the window of the Krusty Krab, where she sees Plankton and Karen 2 having a romantic dinner at the chum bucket. She angrily says she never wants to see Plankton again, and Mr. Krabs welcomes her to the Krusty Krab crew. The next day, Squidward walks in to see Karen is at his post. He is baffled until Mr. Krabs explains that she will be doing his cashier duties for free. Squidward jumps for joy at the thought of no longer working at the Krusty Krab and dealing with SpongeBob or customers, but his joy is quashed when Mr. Krabs reassigns him to restroom duties. Unfortunately, Karen is still upset, even snapping at a customer who requests a Krabby Patty. A knocking is heard at the front door. It is Karen 2, who repeatedly slams into the front door. Plankton pops out from inside her, asking what is wrong, and she tells him he did not program her with arms. Plankton sees Karen at work, and becomes uneasy, then a wave of customers pushes him and Karen 2 into the Krusty Krab. Karen and Karen 2 argue, reaching the point that Karen jumps out of her post, ready to fight Karen 2. Mr. Krabs uses the opportunity to make money from people betting on the fight. Karen and Karen 2 fight, striking each other. When Plankton falls out of Karen 2, she accidentally runs him over and crushes him, and Karen is horrified. Karen 2 is unconcerned, which infuriates Karen, who finally destroys her replacement and gives her a lesson that no one runs down by Plankton. She talks to a wounded Plankton, who sees the error of his ways in replacing her. Karen's power runs out, and Plankton takes the battery from the destroyed body of Karen 2 and puts it into her. Plankton begs Karen to wake up and promises that he will never take her kindness for granted ever again. Karen reactivates, thinking it was all a dream. She and Plankton return to the chum bucket, and Karen 2's screen explodes. Mr. Krabs is upset over the loss of Karen 2, but when SpongeBob suggests that he rebuild her, he has Squidward wearing Karen 2's screen like a mask and taking orders like a robot, because the kids love robots, as the episode ends. Next, I'm going to talk about InSPONGeiac. Enjoy. It is a fine day in Bikini Bottom, in the Krusty Krab, until SpongeBob adds 1% too much mustard to the Krabby Patties. Mr. Krabs is bothered by this, believing this excess would lead him to bankruptcy within the next 411 years. Therefore, he assumes that SpongeBob is an insomniac, so he sends him home to get some shut-eye. However, SpongeBob has a hard time sleeping, so he goes to Patrick's house. Patrick tries to help SpongeBob fall asleep by reading what SpongeBob assumed was a bedtime story. However, the story, The Land of Perpetual Excitement, was meant to get people out of bed, the opposite of SpongeBob's goal. Then, Patrick sings SpongeBob a lullaby, which is really a wake-up song, as it is sung loudly as the song goes on, with the lyrics stating to get up and be active. Then Patrick gives SpongeBob some medicine, which turns out to be coffee, and as a result, it keeps SpongeBob wide awake. After realizing he drank coffee, as well as realizing that Patrick barely helped him get some sleep, SpongeBob starts running around and seeing things, such as an anthropomorphic bush, a talking glass of milk, a bunch of Squidwards, Mr. Krabs with mustard releasers as eyes, reflecting the previous day, etc. The next thing he sees is a bird resembling Gary carrying him to a giant version of Patrick and eats him, thinking he is a sponge cake. Inside Patrick, SpongeBob sees a sunrise. He begs it to let him sleep for just 5 minutes before he meets Sir Cecil the Sleep Wizard. Sir Cecil puts sleepy dust on SpongeBob, then he falls asleep. When SpongeBob wakes up in Gary's litter box, realizing that the whole thing was a nightmare, he snaps back to reality. Realizing he is late for work, a very tired SpongeBob goes to the Krusty Krab, only to sleep in a barrel of mustard. Mr. Krabs takes him out of the barrel of ruined mustard, and wonders why he could not sleep. SpongeBob explains that his insomnia got the best of him. Then, he starts crying tears made of mustard. He cries the perfect amount that is needed to be on the Krabby Patties, so Mr. Krabs keeps making SpongeBob cry to get the perfect amount of mustard, much to Squidward's amusement. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. Goodbye everyone.